your number one source for sports.
You know who I can't stand? Kevin Durant.
He looks like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had a kid.
Now, who can argue with that?
I hate Boston.
I'm the biggest Miami Heat hater you'll ever meet.
I just don't understand where you're getting your bogus information from.
What the hell are you even talking about?
Well, I'm sorry you're too freaking sensitive to handle the truth.
You think I'm crazy? I'm just getting warmed up.
You're now between the hash marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe.
What up, what up? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the Candy Store of Podcast, where we will bring you some of the sweetest treats and goodies, along with, some sports stuff. I'm your host, James Koklak, and my co-host, Sean McCabe, will not be with us today as he is out of town for the holidays, but I have a very special co-host for you today. You've heard his voice on the show before, one of the biggest New York Giant fans you will ever speak to, the one and only Eddie Maglocco. How are you, bud?
I'm good. How are you doing today, James?
I am doing great. I am ready to spend time with the family and watch some football. Hopefully win some money this week in my fantasy championship.
That would be nice.
And the holidays are here. Are you ready for the holidays?
I'm ready for the holidays. Just got my shopping done today, actually. I'm a little bit of a late shopper, but, got it done.
I got my shopping done last week. I heard you are finally a graduate of college. You have your AA degree now. You're moving on to FAU.
I am. That is correct.
How excited are you?
I am very excited. I'm taking a little bit of semester off because I got to apply, but once I get in, I'll be all set and ready to go.
Well, anyway, I'm ready for the holidays, too. The holiday season, for me, is a very special time of year. Spending time with my family, eating good food, watching Christmas movies, listening to Christmas music, and last but not least, giving the presents to the ones that I love. There's nothing like seeing the smile on the faces of my family when I give them their presents. It is priceless. This is my favorite time of the year. I love Christmas time, and I could not be more excited. Well, anyway, I want to bring that excitement into this podcast right here that we are recording live from Wellington, Florida. We have a jam-packed special holiday edition of Between the Hash Marks for you today with the usual picks against the spread and a special game for the holidays. What do you want for Christmas? We will see and find out coming up soon. But let's start off the show right. I wanted to add some holiday flair to the show. It's Christmas time. It's the holiday season. It's the season of giving. It's the season of eating. It's a season of watching sports. I love Christmas time. You know what? We have a special game for you today. We had guests and friends email the show. Remember to email us at bthashmarks@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and iTunes, all up between the hash marks. Don't forget about YouTube. But we had people email the show and tell us what they wanted for Christmas in sports-wise. So, I want to start off with Lori Maglocco from Wellington, Florida. Lori would like the Mets to stay healthy and win a World Series this upcoming year. Eddie, is that doable?
The Mets have been a decent team except for last year. Why? Because the pitching staff, the entire pitching staff, had been hurt except for Jacob deGrom. Yeah, don't get me wrong, and I'm a Mets fan. Jacob deGrom is a phenomenal pitcher. He's great, one of the best in the league, but he can't do it all by himself.
No one pitcher can.
You lose Noah Syndergaard, who's our ace. Matt Harvey, who was an ace at one point, who is a pretty good pitcher. Matz, rookie from 2 years ago, also a very good pitcher. The Mets have a stacked lineup, for sure. The hitting needs a little bit of work now, though. They have lost some key players like Daniel Murphy 2 seasons ago after that World Series run that they had. But yes, I do think that it is a doable thing. Winning a World Series and staying healthy, it is doable in the next, I think, 2 or 3 years.
Okay, for my side of the picture, I think, moving forward, they do have a good team. Their pitching staff needs to stay healthy. But for this upcoming season, I think there's too much competition right now. I think the Cubs are a better team. I think the Dodgers are a better team. And the Mets have to build their team. And Sandy Alderson needs to not be so cheap. I think he needs to spend some money on free agents. He could have kept Daniel Murphy. You got to spend money to win. That's why the Yankees and Dodgers are successful. That's why the Boston Red Sox are successful, because they spend the money, and I think the Mets need to do that on top of his pitching staying healthy for them to win a World Series. Next, we have Justin from Middletown, New Jersey. What does Justin want for Christmas? Justin would like for LeBron to knock off the Warriors in this year's NBA championship. Will Justin get what he wants for Christmas?
No. I don't think so. I don't think the Cavs are built like they have been in the past. And I think a lot of people know, and a lot of people will agree, not many people like Golden State just because of the powerhouse team that they have built. And they are a phenomenal basketball team. But for some reason, the Cavs have been getting worse ever since they won that championship against Golden State, and I don't see them doing it this year. I don't see them doing it anytime soon. Actually,
I agree with you in that sense. I do think the Cavs are the top two team in the Eastern Conference, them and the Celtics. But the Celtics have really taken a rise since getting Kyrie Irving and making that trade for him. And yeah, they gave up IT, but Kyrie Irving, IT, I'm taking Kyrie on that all day. So. But we're forgetting about the Rockets here. The Rockets are the number one seed in the Western Conference right now, and they're playing better and they look better.
The Houston Rockets
than the Golden State Warriors.
James Harden's leading that team by example. He's been unbelievable.
It's so crazy to think about real quick. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden were all on the same team on the Thunder, and they could have had the greatest dynasty in basketball history, in my opinion. But they all got broken up. And you know what? We haven't even talked about the Thunder. Thunder have a good team. They're not playing well, but if Melo, George, and Westbrook can make that work, they got a stacked team over there. So I don't think the Cavs will knock off the Warriors this year, but I'm also not sure that the Warriors are even going to make the NBA Finals. But on to the next person. Cody from Wellington, Florida. What does Cody want for Christmas? Cody would like the Miami Dolphins to finally get a new quarterback and to win a Super Bowl within the next 5 years. Is that possible? Will Cody get what he wants for Christmas?
You know, that one is actually tough because the Dolphins, people have been hyping the Dolphins up a lot. Tom Brady, his time's almost up. Adam Gase is a very, very good head coach. You know what the Dolphins need? They need a leader on that team. Adam Gase is the head coach, and he can only lead that team so much. You need a presence in that locker room. You have Jarvis Landry, who's phenomenal, and he actually might be leaving after this season, possibly. You need a quarterback in there that is going to get the job done and lead that team the way they want to go to a Super Bowl. But the team they have right now, I don't see it happening.
I think that the Miami Dolphins are nowhere close to winning a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, Cody. I am a Jets fan, and we're not close either. But the Miami Dolphins are far from Super Bowl. They need more than just a quarterback. They need leaders. They need a new identity to that team. Not that they need a whole new roster, a makeover, a rebuild, but they are farther off from winning a Super Bowl than people think. And Ryan Tannehill is not the answer. Neither is Jay Cutler. And quite frankly, the answer's not out there for them next year either because they don't have a high enough draft pick.
That is correct.
And I don't see them winning a Super Bowl within the next 5 years. I'm not even sure they're going to win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years. But coming up next, we have Thomas from Port Monmouth, New Jersey. What does Thomas want for Christmas? Thomas wants the New York Jets to finally land their franchise quarterback. Will Thomas get what he wants for Christmas this year?
Not this year. I don't see it happening this year. I don't know. Personally, I remember the 0-6, everybody was talking 0-16 Jets, 0-16 Jets. Here we come Sam Darnold. It's not happening now, and guess where he might be going? To your hometown rivals, the New York Giants, possibly. But if for some reason you guys do want to go the route of Baker Mayfield and give him a shot, you never know. You could take a shot on him, and he might possibly be a franchise quarterback for you guys. It's really depending on what kind of route you guys want to go with the number draft pick you guys are going to have this year.
Well, I think that it's possible that Thomas gets what he wants for Christmas. Kirk Cousins is out there. He is not going to the 49ers. I don't see him staying with the Redskins. The Jets seem to be a good fit for him. Not sure if he's going to sign there, but if they do not sign Kirk Cousins, they will not be getting their franchise quarterback this year. The Jets will be starved for a quarterback for at least one more season. I'm sorry to tell you that, Thomas, but you're going to have Cole in your stocking this year for Christmas because it will not be a Jets quarterback. Next, we have Clint from West Palm Beach, Florida. What does Clint want for Christmas? Clint wants a Washington Capitals Stanley Cup. Will Clint get what he wants for Christmas this year?
I'm going to have to go with no. I know that they have been on pace for a Stanley Cup the past 3 seasons in a row, and they've had better teams the past 3 seasons. They've had similar talent on the teams. They've added some guys. They've lost some guys. TJ Oshie, losing him during the regular season right now, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot. But I do think that it won't happen again for some reason. Sorry, Clint, but Ovechkin isn't a playoff captain. He hasn't done it, and I don't think he's going to. He can't lead a team for some reason to a Stanley Cup. He can't even get to a Stanley Cup finals, let alone win a Stanley Cup right now. But sorry, Clint, I don't think it's going to happen, pal.
The Washington Capitals will not be winning a Stanley Cup this year. I think their Stanley Cup window has closed. Ovechkin is not a Stanley Cup playoff captain, as you mentioned. They are the best regular season team in the NHL.
Absolutely.
And they're the worst postseason team in the NHL. And not to mention, they play in the Metro Division, and the Metro Division is the toughest division in the NHL. And it's not just the 4 or 5 teams now. The only team in the Metro that really isn't great is Carolina, and even Carolina is decent. So you have the likes of New Jersey, who are now sitting at the top of the division again after so many years of not being there. You have the Islanders, who are up at the top. You have the Penguins, are not even in the playoff race at the moment. So many good teams aren't even in the playoffs. I don't see Washington even making the Stanley Cup final this year. I'm sorry, Clint. You will not be getting what you want for Christmas either. Coming up next, though, we have our Christmas wishes. What does Eddie want for Christmas? Eddie wants the Buffalo Sabres to make the NHL playoffs. Will Eddie get what he wants for Christmas? And now I'm going to start this one and give you a firm no.
Oh, here we go.
The only thing I have to say about this is that the Buffalo Sabres have a better chance at the first overall pick than they do at the playoffs this year, bud. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah, I know. It's the sad truth. You know, going into this season, we've been building and building and rebuilding this team for the past 7 to 8 years. And we still cannot put it. We get Jack Eichel. We still can't put it together. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I think we need a goaltender. I think they need to address that. That is the elephant in the room, goaltending. Because look when we had Ryan Miller. Even when we didn't have a good team, we were still winning games with him in net because at the time he was a very good franchise.
You went from Dominic Hasek to Ryan Miller to nobody. So I agree with you there. The Sabres, the only thing they're missing right now is a goaltender, and they better get one fast because yes, they have young players, Jack Eichel and Sam Reinhart, but you also got some older players in Ryan O'Reilly and players like that who are on not the tail end of their careers, but the tail end of their primes.
Yep.
And they aren't going to be young forever. So now is the time to address that for Buffalo Sabres fans. But this year, sorry, your Christmas gift will not be a Stanley Cup appearance, Stanley Cup playoff appearance. Your Christmas gift will be a first overall pick. And last but not least, what does James want for Christmas? James wants the New Jersey Devils to make the NHL playoffs. Now, I know ours are very similar, but our teams have been very similar up until about this year.
Yes.
And now the Devils are sitting at the top of the Metropolitan Division where nobody thought they'd be. Does my Christmas gift come true?
I do see the playoff picture coming true this year, and here's why. I really think that those young talents and the moves that you guys bringing Will Butcher in, I think, was a huge pickup.
21 points as a rookie so far.
I think that was very big, and I really do think that you guys are going to be possibly a conference championship team. Not championship, conference, that you won't make it to the conference, possibly make it to the conference finals. You guys have the team to do it. They're putting it together. The thing is, I don't see it happening to go to the Stanley Cup just because you guys have too many young guys right now. I do see there's a lot of talent there, and there's a lot. The goaltending has been pretty good too. and it's there. The goaltending is there, and the players are there. But you need a few more years to get those kids growing, and once they grow, and they're going to be top players in the NHL at some point. And they just need to build. They need a few more years to get older and grow.
So it looks like I'm the only one who is getting what they want for Christmas this year.
Yeah, it seems like I'm out of luck here.
So I will hopefully be the lucky person. I want the Devils to make the playoffs. I do think they will make the playoffs, but I won't go any farther than that. They do have a lot to learn in playoff hockey. It's a totally different game than regular season. You do need experience, so I won't go too far into depth, but it looks like I'm going to be the only one. So that being said, coming up next, we have our usual picks against the spread right here on BTH.
You're listening to Between the Hash Marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe, brought to you by an unknown sponsor we don't have yet. Now back to the show.
And we're back here for the last and final segment of our holiday edition of Between the Hash Marks. I'm your host, James Koklak, and alongside me is my guest co-host today, Eddie Maglocco, and we just had an awesome segment doing the Christmas game show. Are you going to get what you want for Christmas when it comes to sports? I hope so, because everybody deserves to have a Merry Christmas. But coming up now, we have our picks against the spread. And Sean and I still have that bet going on. Whoever has the better record at the end of the season will wear the opposing team's jersey. If I lose, I have to wear a Patriots jersey. If he loses, he's got to wear a Jets jersey. And we're going to post a picture on Facebook to prove that the loser actually went through with the bet. But even though Sean is not here today, because of this bet, he left me with his picks against the spread. And I want to start off with his first one. The Texans at a +9 against Pittsburgh. Now, Sean, I'm not sure what you're thinking here, bud. We've crushed Houston's defense all year long. Pittsburgh should win this game by at least 10. Houston is they get those garbage time points, but they're not anything special this time of year. They're not really playing for anything, and Pittsburgh's got everything to play for.
I mean, especially when you have TJ Yates as your quarterback the rest of the year and Hopkins being questionable the rest of the season.
So it's hard for me to understand this pick, but I'm rolling with it. Sean's got a +9 Texans. Pick number 2. The Cardinals are -3 against the New York Giants. And this, we go head-to-head. Eddie and I both have the New York Giants at a +4.5. This should be a good game.
I think it's going to be an interesting game because both teams have been underperforming all year. I know we've both been ridden with injuries, but I think seeing this is going to show, what both teams are actually made of, because both teams know that they're both injury ridden. So who's gonna come out on top this game? I know that they're in Arizona, and me being a Giants fan, I think that we're gonna show up in Arizona and we're gonna put them away, because that defense for Arizona really hasn't been that great this year, and the Giants offense we just put up 29 points against the Eagles, and their defense has been very solid.
I'm only rolling with the Giants here because even if they do lose this game, I think it'll be by a field goal or less. It'll be a close game. These are both bottom feeders of the league at the moment. And even though all games are good, this should be a good game. I think the Giants actually win this game. So I rolled with the Giants. Sean's rolling with the Cardinals at a -3. And, I know Sean likes the run game. Sean loves the ground and pound. And the Cardinals, that's how they're rolling right now, because they got Kerwin Williams, Adrian Peterson's hurt, but they don't have Carson Palmer. So they've got Drew Stanton in there. They're not really gunslinging anymore. And so we're all going head-to-head. Eddie and I both got New York Giants on that one. Sean's got the Cardinals. We'll have to see who wins that side of the bet. Coming up next for his pick, Sean has the 49ers at a +4.5. Now, Sean is a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. He does not like to bet on his teams, but the Jags should win this game. We are going head-to-head on this again. Eddie and I both have Jacksonville on this at a -4. I'm sorry. Sean has it at a -4.5 or +4.5. I think Jacksonville wins this game big time. Blake Bortles has really come on over the last 5 weeks or so.
Yeah, he has.
And yes, Jimmy G has looked good, but he's going up against the number 1 defense in the league right now. That might slow them down just a tad bit. But overall, I love what Jacksonville has done this season. They have got a great run game. They've got some solid weapons on the outside. We haven't even talked about how Allen Robinson has had a torn ACL all year.
Nobody's even thought about it because they've just been performing. Their defense has stolen the show is what's happened.
And their defense has been awesome, and I think their defense will steal the show again this game.
Yep. I think Garoppolo's going to try and throw that ball, and they're going to pick Garoppolo apart.
And this might be Garoppolo's first loss of his career. Sean's got the Niners at 4.5. Plus 4.5. Eddie and I both have Jacksonville at -4. His 4th pick for Sean is the Saints at -6. Now the Saints are going up against the Falcons. And this should be an awesome game. Divisional rivals. They're playing for everything here. Who's going to win that division? Who's going to be in the wild card? Who's making the playoffs? This game's got everything on the line. I love this pick. I would have taken New Orleans if I was him too. New Orleans is on a roll right now. The one thing that I would worry about if I was New Orleans is if Matt Ryan and Julio Jones get hot.
If they start connecting, he starts getting Julio the ball, and that's what always happens. When Julio starts getting, it's like Gronkowski and Brady. When Gronkowski starts to get going Brady, you can't stop him. When Matt Ryan starts to get going with Julio Jones, you can't stop him.
To me, this is a smart pick, but also a risky pick. This should be a very close game, but I could see the Saints edging them out by a touchdown. I think the Saints are going to win this game. Time will only tell. And his last pick, Eddie also has the Dallas Cowboys. Different spreads. Sean got the Cowboys at -4. Eddie got the Cowboys at -5. Going up against Seattle. I'm not sure what you guys are thinking here. I think this is going to be a close game. I stayed away from it. It's scary. I couldn't take Seattle. I couldn't take Dallas. I couldn't trust either team. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who I want to win. But it's going to be a darn good game, I'll tell you that.
This game is for both of their playoff hopes here. Whoever wins this game is going to have a shot at making the wild card, and whoever loses is going to be out. They're both 8-6 in the hunt right now. And I think that Dallas is going to edge him out, especially with Ezekiel Elliott coming back. He's been training in Cabo for the last 6 weeks, and apparently he's in insane shape. I think he's going to come out. He's going to come out firing. They're going to give him the ball. He's going to want to get in a groove, and they're going to get moving. I think they're going to beat Seattle bad. Look what Todd Gurley did to Seattle last week. Absolutely decimated them. Had 4 touchdowns, 180 yards, just on the ground. It was unbelievable.
I've got nothing. I was so scared to make this pick. I had to shy away from it. This is too good of a game for me to pick one way or another. I'm surprised you guys both picked Dallas on this one. But hey, you gotta have guts to win money in sports betting, and you guys both have those guts. But those are Sean's picks. Just to reiterate. Texans +9, Cowboys -4, Cardinals -3, Niners +4.5, and Saints at -6 are Sean's picks for this week. Coming up now, we have Eddie and my picks. Starting off with Eddie. Who is your second pick?
My second,
or third pick, I should say. We've already went over Dallas, Jacksonville, and the Giants. So who's your fourth pick?
My fourth pick is going to be Pittsburgh -9.5 is what I am taking.
So you went against the spread with Sean this time, and you guys are going head-to-head again.
I am taking Pittsburgh. I mean, come on. Look, we've all seen Houston this year. Houston's decimated with injuries too. And no Deshaun Watson. And even though Antonio Brown went down on Pittsburgh last week, Juju Smith has been phenomenal. He stepped up in that Patriots game. They almost won that game. They almost beat the Patriots without Antonio Brown in that whole second half. I think that Juju's going to be a big part in this game. Le'Veon Bell is going to be phenomenal like he always is. And,
I hope so.
And look for Martavius Bryant to be getting the ball a lot too. They're going to have their options out there, and Ben's going to get the ball out of his hand. I'm telling you. And I think Pittsburgh, it's going to be at least a field goal and a touchdown game. It's going to be 9.5. That's why I'm glad I kind of got it at 9.5 because it's going to be more than probably 10 points. I think.
Well, Again, I was too afraid to take that game because, I need a lot of people on Pittsburgh to do well this weekend, but every time I pick Pittsburgh, they end up crapping the bed for me. So I shied away from that game. My third pick, because I did take the Giants at +3 and Jacksonville at -4, which we've discussed. My third pick is Oakland at +9. Yes, I am taking Oakland at Philadelphia at +9. Philly, yes, they're good, but they lost Carson Wentz. And guess what? The Giants, the New York Football Giants, the 2-12 New York Football Giants, almost just beat the Eagles and put up 29 points against that defense. Oakland's got a stacked offense regardless of how they've played this year. This will be a high-scoring game, and there's no way Philly wins this one by 9, even if they win the game, period. I'm going with Oakland at +9.
You see, that's the one thing I think about the Eagles. The problem is when the Eagles win games, typically they win pretty big. The Giants game is a divisional game, and I'm a Giants fan. That's why the game was so close. They're playing Oakland, and Oakland really has not looked, their defense really has not looked good. And now you got Amari Cooper who's still out. Crabtree's been getting the ball, he's been stepping up, but it's still hard.
That is primetime Monday night.
It's a primetime game. It's going to be hard to see. And the problem is with Marshawn Lynch too, he's very hit or miss. He'll have a great game or he'll put up 24 yards the entire game. So that's the one thing I don't trust about Oakland. Their offense is great, but it depends when they decide to actually play. Is how it usually goes. And especially with the Eagles, they've been on fire. Nick Foles threw 4 touchdowns against the Giants. Welcome back, Nick Foles.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Nick Foles is going to do that against Oakland. He should be able to because they are Oakland. They don't have a great defense this year. But I want to move on to my fourth pick here. This one should be easy. I'm surprised nobody else took this. I'm going to take Indy at a +13.5 against Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore's good, but their offense is really nothing.
Yeah.
And their defense is good, yes, but their defense can't win you a game by 14 points. I mean, they can, but it's very hard. And I see this game being less than 2 touchdown win for Baltimore. This is a no-brainer for me. I mean, Indy, yes, they're not great, but they're not terrible. Jacoby Brissett is an NFL quarterback. He's an NFL starting caliber quarterback.
He is.
You still have Frank Gore. You still have T.Y. Hilton. You still have Dante Moncrief. You still have a decent offense.
You got Jack Doyle.
All you got to do is put up a couple points. You're not going to lose this game by 14, and that's the key here. The Colts are going to lose this game, but they're not going to lose by 14.
They're not going to lose by 14.
And that's why I'm taking the Colts. I'm rolling with the Colts at 13.5 at Baltimore on Saturday at 4:30. Yes, there are 2 Saturday games this week, 2 Sunday games this week, or 2 Monday night games, I should say. The rest are on Sunday. We got Christmas football this year, not just Christmas basketball, which is awesome. I want to hear who is your 5th pick.
My 5th pick, I took the Rams -6.5 against Tennessee because Tennessee is just, I think that they are one of the fakest teams in the NFL personally. I mean, it just, their wins that they've had, they lost to San Fran last week, let's put it that way. And they haven't seemed like when they've won games, it's not impressive.
They have the worst point differential for a winning team. The last time I checked, they had a minus point differential on the season with a winning record.
And for some reason, they're in a wild card spot right now, and it blows my mind because I feel like if they go into the wild card game, you know who they got to play? Like we play in Pittsburgh
or the Patriots.
No, the Patriots are probably going to get the bye. It's going to be Pittsburgh or the Patriots are going to get the bye. I think the Patriots are going to get the bye.
Well, they're both going to get byes. First and second.
They both get the bye. But you really think Tennessee is going to get by that wild card game?
It's possible, but even if they do, they're getting smoked in the second round in the divisional game. Tennessee is not a playoff team in my mind this year either.
No.
But the Rams, they just lost their kicker. That could be huge.
Zuerlein has been one of the most consistent, good.
His nickname was Legatron.
Literally, it's unbelievable how that man is phenomenal with kicking.
So I understand the Rams have been on fire lately. Marcus Mariota has more interceptions than he does touchdowns this year.
Yep.
That's also a game I shied away from. It is being played in Tennessee at 1 p.m. That could be an advantage for Tennessee as the Rams play on the West Coast. But you're rolling with the Rams at 6.5 at Tennessee. And for my last pick, I'm not making the same mistake again. The last time you were on the podcast with me and Sean, and we also had Nick on the podcast that day too, I rolled with the Patriots at a 17.5 point spread, I believe it was, against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins ended up winning the game, not just the spread. Yeah, I'm not making that mistake again. I'm taking Buffalo plus 12 against the Patriots this week.
Okay.
I think that, it's a divisional game. Buffalo versus New England, Jets versus New England, Jets versus Buffalo, Miami versus New England. All divisional games, they're so tough. They're all close. There's no way. Of course, there's a way, but Buffalo's a good team. They're 8-6 right now. They started 5-2. They're in the playoffs. They have everything to play for right now. I think this game is a close game. Tyrod Taylor is the real deal. He does not turn the ball over. As long as they can dominate the time of possession, they actually have a chance to win this game and not just cover the spread. I'm rolling with Buffalo at plus 12.
Well, think about it too. Buffalo's fighting for their playoff hopes right now.
Absolutely.
If they got to win this game, if they lose, they're basically they're screwed. Their playoff dreams are screwed.
They take a massive hit. They're not eliminated. They'd be 8-7 going into the final week, but they take a massive hit.
They need this game, and I think they are in Foxborough. I think they are actually in New England, so that's going to be probably their toughest game of the year. They're going to be they're fighting for this. And the Patriots aren't going to want them to get in because you know what? Buffalo knows they're vulnerable. That's the one thing I will say. Anybody in that division, the Jets can say it, the Dolphins can definitely say it now, and the Bills. Those three teams always, for some reason, whenever they play, they give the Patriots a game. Might not be the whole game, but they show signs of weakness. The Patriots. So. The Bills could do this. I do like that pick, James, that Bills pick.
It's in Foxborough, but the Patriots also lost their first 2 home games this year. They're not the same team at home as they have been for recent years.
Right.
This has been a different season for the Patriots. They didn't look great to start the season. They went through that 2-3 game stretch late in the season, too, that they didn't look good. And in between, they did rip off 8 wins. But I'm rolling Buffalo at plus 12. And that's going to do it for us today here on BTH. We had an awesome show, jam-packed, holiday edition. We gave you all kinds of goodies and treats, chocolate, candies, gummy worms, everything you name it. Welcome to the candy store. I'm your host, James Koklak. And don't forget to tune in next week. After the holidays, we are going to have another great lineup of shows. Sean will be back next week. Eddie, it was great having you on. We're going to have you on again as soon as we can. But thanks for joining me today, bud.
Absolutely. I appreciate having me on, guys. And Sean, I think you're going to be wearing that Jets jersey, pal.
I think you are too, Sean. But we will find out in 2 weeks. And that's going to be me signing off. Have a happy holidays, everybody. A Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next week right here on BTH.